Hear that, guys? Carbs. What am I on today? Let's get riding and roll that intro, and we'll get to it. Roll it. Yeah, buddy! Half the horsepower, half the displacement, but all the same smiles. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm doing a bit of a new segment here on the channel, which is not a new bike test ride, but a used bike test ride. All these old bikes get forgotten over their lifetime, and I'm here to try and bring some life back to them. So what we are riding here today is a 2006 Harley Davidson Sportster 883. I came across this bike because it happens to be my wife's bike. But yeah, I figured that was the best one to test this out on, you know, to see if the setup works and whatnot. We'll talk about it here in a second, how it came to be. A couple years ago, I started riding. My wife wanted to start riding. So we found this 2006 Sportster that this guy was selling. He was selling it for $2,500, which was about the right price for an 883. Now the guy did do some silly things. He advertised it as a 1200, you know, it had a 1200 upgrade, yada yada yada. Without us ever putting it on the dyno, I'm gonna have to say he probably didn't. But I don't know. I've never ridden a 1200 versus an 883 to tell you the difference, to be quite honest. But anyway, we picked up the bike in the middle of February, cold, frozen rain. But I didn't want to let the guy hold on to my cash until the weekend, so I rode it home that night, which I'm glad I didn't kill it, because it turned out it had a bad battery, which he said was just replaced. And long story short, if I would have killed it, it wouldn't have restarted. So there's that. But no, this is about the review of this bike. Let's just start with the price. Let's start there, and we'll work our way through. So the price, again, we paid was $2,500, and if you were to go to your local marketplace now granted we're getting into riding season, so the prices might have gone up a little, but I feel like we're still about $500 under what the prices are going before now, and that was, you know, 2.5, 3 years ago. This just proves you can get into motorcycling on a very low mileage. I think we have maybe 14,000 miles on this bike. But again, you can get into the motorcycling world for not an expensive amount of dollars. You don't have to go out there and spend $15,000, $16,000 on a new Harley Davidson. Why don't you get out there on something like this, as long as it fits you, and make sure that riding is for you. Luckily for us, we knew riding was for us, and we've kept our bikes that we both initially had bought. So pricing is on point for your entry-level bike. Again, you're getting a very reliable machine that's got the Evo Moto in it, or the Blockhead, as you could so put. The thing's bulletproof, guys. They've had this motor out for years and years and years, and it's great. It has that carb sound to it, because this is a carbureted bike. Again, kind of getting back to the basics of what a motorcycle really is. There's no fuel injection, no bells and whistles. The only thing electronic looking this thing has on it is the speedo and the dummy indicators. Alright, now as far as, you know, the fit of this style of motorcycle, who is it going to be built for? Guys, I'm 6'2", 350 pounds. Now, picture that. Now, you've seen me. Picture that. And imagine it on one of the smallest motorcycles that Harley Davidson makes. and I'm sitting right now, you guys, I'm very comfortable on this bike. I mean, it's got 4 controls on it, so that does help me a little bit. They feel more like a true mid to me. But with the Fords on there, I got plenty of space. The handlebars are at a good distance. We've kind of adjusted those a little bit to from stock. We didn't like the beach bars that were on there. But, you know, just to say you're a taller person doesn't mean this bike cannot be comfortable for you. Long run, all the time, whatever. I mean, I feel like this would be the perfect city-ish type bike for me. Like if I was to, you know, have a tourer type bike, but I didn't want to lug it around the city all the time, like going to work. I mean, the flickability of this thing is just unreal. It's just, you know, it weighs about 500 and some pounds wet, and it just goes. So again, the fit for me it works. It didn't work as well when we bought the bike because the guy did put those bunking lowering blocks on there, which lowered it about another inch. I wasn't as comfortable there, but now that we've raised it up, oh man, I really like how this bike rides. I remember when I was doing my initial ride home with this motorcycle a couple of years ago, I told my wife, even if she doesn't like motorcycling, we're keeping this motorcycle. This thing, guys, I forgot how much fun this is. This is so awesome. All right, so the stance works for someone who is bigger. So again, that goes back to one of the videos that I had posted a while back, is you can make any motorcycle work for you. You just have to get the right adjustments done. Now this is adjusted for my wife, who luckily is taller than average, so it ends up working for me as well. As far as the power goes, I've taken this on a couple rides when my other brother was up here. He took the Dyna out and I rode the wife's Sportster, and I was able to keep up with them. It'll go 75, 80 on the highway with no problem. I mean, it's maybe not the touring that you would want it to be. I mean, you do get punished while riding this bike. There is no doubt about that. But it's that raw awesomeness. We did go ahead and put a cafe fairing on my wife's Sportster. It was on my Dyna at one point in time, and it does block a little bit of the wind. So I am starting to get it like right here. I'll probably just block the view. Yep, just cruising at 55. This is nice. So this bike does, we believe, has just the 883 motor in it. It does come with a 5-speed transmission, and it is carbureted. So there is, you know, that, again, that old sound to it, that potato, 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 potato sound. You may think your bike sounds good, but until you put your fuel injected bike next to a carbureted bike, are you kidding me? What are you doing up here? Oh, luckily her bike's already dirty. Let's see, as far as other things to the bike, it's pretty much stock outside of the slip-ons. We've had no tuner, no aftermarket air intake put on it. So really we just got the sound going for us, and that's it. So there's real no power outers to be seen on the bike yet. Now my downshifts are probably not as good as I like them to be. My feet are in a completely different spot than what I'm used to. But she's got a good bike. We got ourselves a really good deal on this thing. So the reason I'm actually taking my wife's bike out today for outside of just this test ride is it needed to get some air time. My wife is due at the end of July, and she's getting to the point where she's thinking any sort of motorcycle ride is not going to be comfortable for her. I did say I would go ahead and sacrifice myself and take it out on occasion this year, just to, you know, just to keep her going. Huh. Oh, I'm having so much fun. Now, I do want to preface this video with saying this is not a review. This is just me test riding a bike. If you want a review, there's reviews out there. But this is more, hey, come see the joy that a 14-year-old motorcycle can bring a 6'2" overweight man. Guys, this is just, loving it, loving it. Let's see what happens if I do this. Oh yeah, look at it. Would you look at it? Oh. Wow. My wife and I were thinking of getting like a Triumph or something else at some point in time, but man, I would be very happy if we kept this bike. Maybe went ahead and did the 1200 conversion on it. I think this thing would be even more fun than it already is. God, it sounds like there's a train right behind me. And I can't tell what it is. There's nothing behind me. But yeah, so if you guys like these type of videos where I'm just hopping on a different bike and just getting my initial impressions, let me know if you like to see more of these, because I do still have 2 other bikes that I do technically have access to, as long as he's cool with it still, which would be an older Fat Boy from like 2002 and then like a 2012 V-Rod. I rode the V-Rod once before, and guys, that bike is cool too. I know it's not your typical Harley Davidson per se. Guys, I'm a motorcycle enthusiast. I don't care what the label is on there. Put it under me, I want to give it a go. Let's see, what else can I say about this bike? It rides rough. It could definitely use a suspension upgrade at some point in the future. It's not bad by any means, but it could use the Legends treatment. I might try and see if I can find a pair of emulsion shocks for her or something off the Roadster. I mean, guys, I just got to 45 pretty quickly. Wasn't even really Harley on it. This is a perfect city bike. We did also find a Salomon Explorer seat, which also probably raised me up a little bit. So again, that's also helping me fit this bike a little bit better than it typically would. And again, it just feels so good. So good. A couple of the drawbacks to this bike, though, I said it was one of the great things earlier, now I'm calling it a drawback, is the lack of electronic on the bike. You gotta make sure you reset your fuel gauge, otherwise you will not know how far you got left to go. I think we've determined we can get about 120 miles to a tank on the little peanut tank that we have. It's not small like the 48, it's the 3.3 gallon. So, but we just have to keep our mind to it to make sure we reset that so we can not run out of gas. Although some of the funnest times were when we first got the bike and my wife was just starting to learn to ride, and we ran out of gas. Luckily we figured out how the reserve worked pretty quick. No 6th gear. Throughout the video I've been kind of mixing in some shots of the bike. So my wife loves the Grateful Dead, as you can probably have picked up by now. So we had the custom derby cover, we had the custom timing cover. That's about all that we've had time for modifications on it. I'm hoping once we have the kid and we get kind of into a new routine, she's able to get back out and ride, and I know she really does enjoy it. And I'm gonna have to take this bike out more than just every now and then, and I might have to just swap back and forth. Alright, well, hit me up in the comments again if you guys want to see more videos like this. I do appreciate the support. The channel has grown immensely over the last few weeks, so thank you for that. I do appreciate all of the likes, all of the comments, all the new subscribers, and you subscribers who have been with me all along the journey. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out, and I'll catch you on the next dark side, as this is the way. ChopperFett seeing ya. Twisty time!